Hey guys, Brady here. School started and I haven't had any time to do any videos, probably because of the virtual stuff been going on with your schools too. Let me know your opinions on virtual schooling. I only think it's a piece of crap, but we gotta work with it probably until November. I don't know, maybe till January. I don't want to get into any political stuff, of course, because my channel is politics free. Anyways, as you could probably not tell from a game vlog, I am a Lego maniac. Not to be confused with the true Lego maniac, Zach, the Lego maniac. Does anybody remember that commercial from the 90s? That one song? And that other song from the long-forgotten Lego Club show? Well, if you were subscribed to Lego Club, rest in peace, you got the promotional disc like I did. So, if you remember Lego Club, you're a champ. Anyways, heck, I'm such a dork that I actually still have my very first Lego creation that I kept adding on to this day. And as you can see, that not everything is matching. Like, you see the Spider-Man logo and a treasure map for some reason. Still cool, though. Also, look at all these Lego games. I don't know what to do with all these Lego games, but they all hold a special place in my heart. Oh, and future review plans? I mean, I already talked about Lego Dimensions, and Lego Indiana Jones 2 and Star Wars Complete Saga in a game vlog. So maybe in the future I'll talk about any of these games. Most specifically these two, probably. I don't know. Because I love those two games. Of course, Lego was a massive brand. So, naturally, Hollywood was like, okay, Lego, listen to me. We need to make a film out of you. They didn't say that. They're just like, okay, we gotta plan some sort of Lego movie in some sorts. So, they came up with not one, not two, but 3 different Lego films. All, of course, being based off of brands. Different types of series in the Lego universe. I have the original Lego movie from 2014, the Lego Batman movie from 2017, and the Lego Ninjago movie also from 2017. So, this is going to be, of course, a marathon with my own perspective on these 3 films. And no, I'm not going to talk about Lego Movie 2, the second part, since that's not even old enough to do an actual review on. So, I mean, I would talk about it, but then again, I am planning to do other film reviews as well. Maybe 2 specific film reviews that I want to do so bad. And they're based on 2 other films that I've already taken a look at. So, let's, of course, this is going to be a Lego movie trilogy review. Not in one video, separate videos, of course, because I can't fit 3 videos, one full video talking about these hour-and-a-half films, based on the lovely Lego brand. So, let's start, oddly enough, with the one that got apparently 100% on Rotten Tomatoes opening weekend, I believe. The Lego Movie. Releasing, of course, in 2014, the same year as Smash 4, and we all know Smash 4 just existed and nothing else. And of course, what other things came out in 2014? Can't remember, but a lot of stuff came out in 2014, including this. This film, I kid you not, had a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I believe its opening weekend. It is on the same quality as Toy Story, and I am not pulling your leg. It's on the same level as Toy Story and basically every Aardman film that's gotten amazing reviews. So naturally, the film was a big hit. So, which of course led to these two other films and eventually a sequel in 2019. So, does this film actually hold up? That's the question that we're going to ask today. So, let's start with the cast, because I bet your bottom dollar that you are ready to hear this all-star cast that they came up with. We've got Chris Pratt, who also plays Owen Wilson in Jurassic World, Elizabeth Banks, Morgan Freeman, also playing a character in Shawshank Redemption, Alison Brie, Will Arnett, who also played another character in the other film that we're going to talk about, along with Liam Neeson for some reason. Hey, that rhymed. Who's normally known for, R-rated films and crap. And they decided to put him in a Lego movie. Genius! So, of course, we must talk about the film. Starting, of course, with the plot. The plot, this time, it's the typical Hollywood formula. Every character, almost every single character in this movie is based off of the typical Hollywood formula. You have the ordinary guy who gets thrown into this crazy situation, the tough chick trying to guide the normal guy, the ordinary guy, through this crazy situation, of course. The wise man with the staff, the Gandalf wannabe, a lot of other characters like the main villain, of course, played by Will Ferrell, for crying out loud. Yes, Buddy the Elf is in a Lego movie. I am not making this up. I guess you guys are just watching this video because for either two reasons. One, you just want to see me ramble on about how much I love this film, and two, you've never seen the film. You're welcome. Anyways, so obviously the film has to start out on an epic note, a really suspenseful note that could be leading to something super legendary. We see the character Vitruvius, portrayed by Morgan Freeman, saying, "He's coming. Cover your butt." Immediately, you start laughing your tush off. And then the villain, of course, played by Will Ferrell, named President Business, or Lord Business, as he likes to call his alter ego villain sort of super name, I don't know, but he's, of course, here to steal the ancient artifact known as the Craggle. You maybe know, and if you know the ending to this film, you know that it's trying to do a play on words for some sort of glue. The Craggle is basically this ancient artifact that has the power to freeze anyone with the squeeze of it, and immediately their feet get stuck to the ground and they can't move. Which is basically used for Lego figures in case you are in the business market and want to use Lego figures for your, stuff like that in business and whatnot. Hence, Lord Business. So Vitruvius, of course, kind of dies. His eyes kind of go white, and he's like, "A special one with the face of yellow will make the piece of resistance found in his possession and will become the greatest, most important person of all times. All of this is true because it rhymes." So he basically makes up a prophecy about the piece of resistance, which is another ancient artifact, which we will explain in the future. And so, cut to a few years later, we have our main character, Emmett Brakowski, played by Chris Pratt. He's an ordinary construction worker, just living in the lovely world of Bricksburg. He even has an instruction booklet that says, instructions to fit in, have everybody like you, and always be happy. So technically, he lives in a society where no one is like, I'm grumpy, or all that jazz. And yeah, so of course he goes through the steps, get out of bed, take deep breaths, scream at the top of your lungs, "Good morning, city," to everyone in the world. If you did that in real life, someone would be like, "Yeah, shit, yeah." Well, if you live in New York, of course. another part of New York. But I didn't grow up there. I grew up here in lovely America. And then he takes a shower. He eats breakfast with his friend Planty, the plant. Oh God, the comedy is so good. But and of course he watches his favorite show, Where Are My Pants? And then Lord Business comes on the TV and is like, "Hello, I'm President Business, president of the Octane Corporation and the world. Please be sure to follow the instructions or you'll be put to sleep. And don't forget, Taco Tuesday's coming this week. Every person gets a free taco at my love." So basically, and by the way, spoilers, I won't spoil the film if you've never seen it. But if you have seen it, we all know that the Taco Tuesday is the end of the world. Sorry if I spoiled the film for you. I'm sorry, I really am. So of course, Emmett goes through his normal day at work as a construction worker, with all of his friends, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the sports bar after work. Who wants to eat some chicken wings and get crazy?" And then he's like, "Oh, chicken wings, I love those." And then another guy's like, "Hey, who wants to share this croissant with this guy?" And then Emmett's like, "Croissants, I love croissants." And then another guy over there is like, "Oh yeah, I sure do love giant sausages." Oh man, that was such a dirty joke. And then Emmett's like, "Giant sausages, no way!" So you can tell that Emmett is such a happy person. He has had no bad moments in his life. He must have had a good childhood too. And of course he finds another character named Wildstyle in the far distance of the construction site, where they put all the bricks and whatnot. And he's like, "I think I heard a whoosh." And then he sees Wildstyle, played by Elizabeth Banks, and he's like, "Well, guess I'm gonna have to report you." And then he does that for like half a minute, and then he follows her into this pit of despair, which eventually leads to the piece of resistance. And so he's like, "I think maybe I should touch that." Because the piece of resistance is speaking to him through his mind, and he's like, "Touch the piece." And so he touches it, and it's just like all this weird stuff happens on screen, and he's like having like some sort of heart attack or something, and then the prophecy gets foretold, "A special one with the face of yellow will make the piece of resistance." And then it cuts to a scene where Bad Cop, played by Liam Neeson, is like, "Do you know about the prophecy?" And then he's like, and then he twists his head. Actually, let's explain what Emmett says. I've watched a lot of cop movies in my life, and he's like, "Isn't that supposed to be a good cop?" And then Bad Cop's like, "Oh yes, but we're not done yet." And then he twists his head. He's like, "Hi, buddy. I'm your friendly neighborhood police officer. Would you like a glass of water?" And then he's like, yeah, sure, actually. Then Bad Cop's like, "Too bad." So yeah, Bad Cop is clearly the one who's like, he's like the bad cop. The bad cop, and then there's the good cop on the other side of his head. All right, so I'm running out of breath. I really am. And then we move on to, of course, the part where, and Emmett's friends completely forgot him, and everyone's just like, "Who's this Emmett guy?" And then Emmett doesn't ring a bell. Even the freaking barista that he goes to get his coffee is like, he's just sort of like, little bit of a blank slate, I guess. And then cut to the other one where he's like, "We all have something that makes us something," and Emmett is nothing. And so Bad Cop is like, "Take him to the melting chamber." And so he gets tied up on some sort of thing where it's like the laser is about to kill him. And then Wildstyle comes in to save the day, and she's like, "Come with me come with me if you want to not die." And so they escape, build a motorcycle, ride it across the streets, and then Wildstyle is like, "The prophecy speaks that you are the most important person in the universe. That's you, right? And then Emmett is like, yes, that's me. And then Wild Style's like, great, you drive. What? And then so Emmett drives like he's in Fast and Furious 10 or something like that. There's gonna be I want as many Fast and Furious movies as there are Star Wars movies. So, and then he's like, I want to go home. And then a house appears out of the sky, and he's like, this is not what I meant. Seriously, the comedy is so good. So good that I actually really, every joke just cracks me up hard. And then, they rebuild the, motorcycle into some sort of rocket ship thingy. And then, Wild Style, realizes that, Emmett isn't the guy that they're looking for. And he's like, wait, what's your favorite restaurant? And then Emmett's like, any chain restaurant. And then Wild Style's like, favorite show? Where are my pants? And then she's like, favorite song? And then the main song of the movie is Everything Is Awesome. So, and then Wild Style's like, oh no. And then they immediately zoom into a portal into the Old West, which is another location in this film, where they, of course, have to go to meet up with Vitruvius in the Western bar. And so, plot, blah, blah, blah. Seriously, this film is so long, and this video is so long. Probably gonna beat my Shark Boy and Lava Girl review, or my Crash Nitro Kart review. Please be sure to check out those reviews. Anyways, and then they enter Emmett's mind, where apparently he comes up with this lovely idea to make. It goes a little something like this. For instance, one time I was like, you know what? I want to have my friends over and have a double-layered couch. Introducing the double-decker couch, so everybody can watch TV together and be buddies. And then Wild Style's like, that is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then Vitruvius also agrees with Wild Style. He's like, let me handle this. That idea is just the worst. And so Vitruvius is like, we need to head to Cloud Cuckoo Land to meet up with the rest of the Master Builders. And that's what they're called, Master Builders. People associated with building in a masterful way, without the use of instructions. And Emmett needs to learn the way of the Master Builder, to become one and not follow the instructions and realize there's endless possibilities with your creativity. That's literally the entire plot of the second act. And so, of course, we meet a lot of other stereotypical Hollywood formula characters, like the happy-go-lucky, cheery, random creature that you see in every Star Wars movie, except in Star Wars films, it's not happy and cheery. That character is Unikitty, played by Alison Brie. And she has anger issues. Oh, man. And then we also meet up with other characters like Metalbeard, who is a mecha pirate for some reason. And then we meet Benny, who is the hyper spaceman. Who's like, hey, I'm Ben. You can call me Benny. I can make a spaceship. And then they're like, hey, we don't need a spaceship. And he's like, that's okay. I didn't really want to build a spaceship anyways. That's cool. And then the second act plays on. So, what do you say we get to the final act? Well, the final act is kind of subtle and really sad at points. So, we make it to Octan, and they enter the room, I can't remember what that room is called, but it's basically the think tank. The think tank is where they keep all of the Master Builders in these chamber thingies, holding them and putting these things by their heads. Wow, my video has already beaten the Crash Nitro Kart review. New record, folks. Oh man, I can imagine every other video being just as longer, if not even longer, probably like an hour or so. So, of course, Emmett and the rest of the gang get found as well. They're trying this super secret secret spy thing where it's just like Mission Impossible kind of stuff. and all that. So, yeah. And then, after that, we, of course, we go through a lot of puns, of course. Even Batman saying something like, oh yeah, and Batman's in this film for some reason, because he's in everything. And then Batman is like, winging it. It's a bad pun. That brings me back to the horrible days of Batman and Robin, where we can't go another break without having a cheesy one-liner. Good job, Will Arnett. You officially made Batman 10 times better. Unlike George Clooney. Yeah. And then, for some odd reason, Vitruvius is like, I'm gonna enter the think tank and find Lord Business. And when I do, I'm going to destroy him. But actually, it is a role reversal. And so when they all get to the think tank, Vitruvius is like, see that, dammit? A corruptive spirit is no match for the period of imagination. And then Vitruvius gets his head sliced off, meaning that Lord Business killed Vitruvius. And he turns into a ghost. So, yeah. And then Taco Tuesday is upon us. And then he's like, hey, this is President Business. Welcome to Taco Tuesday. And I just have one question for you. Who wants a taco? And then everybody's like celebrating with all these Mexican stereotypes, just shaking their maracas and having sombreros on. And he's like, that's good, everybody stay there. Now, everybody say freeze. And then the Craggle comes in and is like, raise everything, freezing everybody. And by the way, what about Emmett? Emmett sacrifices himself to go into the infinite abyss of nothingness, which is a portal that leads to a terrible dimension where nothing is creative. I believe so. And then he's falling for eternity into the abyss of nothingness. And he's like, I'm just gonna keep falling forever. And until we realize that the entire movie is in a basement, and a kid is playing with a Lego set. But it's the different kind of Lego set. You know, like I said, where they use Legos for business purposes as well. And then some random kid comes up and picks up him, and he's like, wait, no, do not eat me, please. And then the kid's like, hi, Emmett. That's creepy. And he's like, hi? Until we hear footsteps, and we figure out, eventually they keep talking about, throughout the entire story, they keep talking about this guy called the man upstairs, meaning that the man upstairs is the rule maker. He thinks he's the most powerful person. And basically, that person is played by Will Arnett, who also... No, not Will Arnett. Will Ferrell. Yeah, Will Ferrell. There we go. He's played by Will Ferrell, who also plays another character, Lord Business. And then he sees his son playing with his business set. He's like, what are you doing? What? Why is that on top of the luxury condo development? And then the kid's just like, I was just playing. And the dialogue keeps going on. Allow me to recite the dialogue. He's like, you know the rules. This is not a toy. And then he's like, we bought it at the toy store. And then he's like, I do not care if we bought it at the toy store. This is my set. And then the kid's like, but it says ages 4 to 10. And then Will Ferrell is like, that's just a suggestion. You need to realize that everything must be put in order permanently. So we realize that the Craggle is actually Cragglue, which is a brand of glue, of course. So he stitches everything back together, removing every piece of creativity from everything in Bricksburg that's trying to attack the micromanagers, which is the machinery that Lord Business owns, of course. And they go around fixing everything perfectly and placing everything back into order. And it was like, oh no, they're ruining the film. And then of course, like I said, Will Ferrell goes around changing everything, ruining the creativity that everybody has. Then Emmett's just like, I gotta move. So, what does he do? He's like, it's kind of funny if you think about it. And then he's like, I need to go back into the real world. So, the kid puts Emmett back in the magical portal, and he's like, he comes back to life, and he's like, I'm gonna save the world, more specifically, my world. And then he heads to the construction site, and he's like, I can see everything. He's like, he can see pieces that he could use to build a mech, and he's like, I'm not following the instructions, I'm using my creativity. And then he builds a giant construction worker associated mech. Thank you for that. And then, let's just skip to the next part of the film, where he makes it inside Lord Business's lair, and he's like, he goes on a rambling speech, and he's like, take this. And he's like, you want me to take your hands off? And he's like, no, I want you to join me. Look around you. All these people being creative, taking what they could make and making something new out of it. And you can still change everything. And so magically, through the power of all things great and bright, Will Ferrell's character, Lord Business, turns good. Then he's like, from this moment on, I will solely promise that I will never... Everything explodes because the piece of resistance gets put back on the Craggle, which basically allows for a big nuclear explosion. Not life-threatening explosion, of course. I can't believe this video is still going on. 27 minutes of just me rambling on about the Lego movie. But anyways, plot. Everybody lives happily ever after. Ending the Lego movie. I'm sorry if I skipped some of these parts. I don't want the video to be extra long, like the Nostalgia Critics videos. They're normally about like 30 minutes or 27 minutes long or something, or even more, probably 1 hour for his Fox Kids review and Toonami review. But anyways, that's the Lego movie. What can I say about it? Yeah, it still holds up. But you were kind of expecting that. The comedy, so good. The characters, so likable. The story, great too. Not to mention the all-star cast makes it even better. Normally all-star casts are like, ooh, we don't care. So what? You can put Arnold Schwarzenegger with Sylvester Stallone. Ooh, that's not gonna work. Put Chris Pratt and Morgan Freeman together. That's the end of the story. So anyways, I obviously love this film. It's in my top 5 favorite films ever. So, I could obviously recommend the first Lego movie, or the sequel if you want to. Well, watch this one before you watch the sequel, though. So yeah, 29 minutes of me rambling about this film, and how much I love it. So anyways, see you guys next time. I will be doing part 2 in the future as well. So, sayonara, peeps. Take care.